We're driving a 2026 Ram 1500 Limited trim with the revived 5.7 liter Hemi V8. I got a question for you guys. Is this thing worth $87,000? We're gonna let you guys be the judge.
But first, here's how much the Ram 1500 costs.
This isn't the fanciest trim, that's the tungsten trim. Tungsten! I need tungsten to live! But this is the Limited trim, which is a fancy one.
It's definitely monochromatic, but what keeps it from getting boring is there's a huge variety of textures in here. I particularly like the stitching and piping and the variety of materials that the seat is made out of.
But really, the story here is practicality.
The doors are a great example of that. There's storage on 2 levels, double bottle holders. I also appreciate this upper dash storage.
With a convenient power outlet for people who still have like radar detectors or something. The Ram 1500 comes standard with a front bench seat, and it's also optional depending on the trim. But in ours, we've got this big console, and it is awesome. 6 USB ports. We even have an HDMI port over here for the passenger side screen. In ours, we've got dual wireless phone chargers, and then you've got this sliding center section that you can kind of move here or back. There's a little like flip up dealie to keep items in here from sliding forward. As long as I've got this flipped up, there's math on here, trigonometric ratios. You've got those right here and a bunch of conversion charts. And then of course you can flip this down. You have extra storage here for your flying eye sunglasses. And back here, a couple of cup holders for rear seat passengers or very, very thirsty front seat passengers. One weird bit in the Ram, it's a big pickup truck, but the mirror here is like proportionally kind of small, but it has a trick. Flip it forward. We've got a digital, readout on what's happening behind us. My child is adjusting her sweater and now leaping with joy. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to add a mirror like this to your own vehicle? And wouldn't it be doubly cool if you get more than one angle of a different camera? Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool.
You're right. Today's sponsor, Wolfbox, makes the G900 Tripro dash camera. This unit right here. Not only can it display a rear camera, but also a front camera, which is super helpful for when you're cresting hills off-road. It's also a dash cam that constantly records 3 camera views simultaneously. Fun fact, I did a ton of research on dash cams and bought that G900 Tripro for our Bronco with our own money. And then like a month later, Wolfbox reached out and said, hey, you want to talk about our product? Yes, very much so. We love it. For us, adding radically enhanced visibility and dash cam security for a few $100 was a no-brainer.
And after 6 months of use, the G900 Tripro has performed flawlessly.
If you'd like to add a Wolfbox G900 Tripro dash cam to your ride and you'd like to help support our channel, there's a link you can click in the description below. Moving to the seats, I'm noticing a lot of width, which means on our mountain roads, I'm not held in place particularly well, but generally comfortable. It kind of reminds me of like a leather chair in a man cave.
I agree. There's a real firmness to it, but it's still comfortable.
Are you still comfortable though in the driver's position?
In a vehicle of this size and my short height, I wasn't sure if I would be, but the adjustable pedals really make it work.
Seated behind my ideal front seat position, this thing is roomy as so we have the crew cab, which has an extra 9.5 inches of legroom versus the standard quad cab. And one thing you can do when you have all that legroom is move your arms around in a very funny, almost Frankenstein-like fashion. But another thing you can do is do what Ram did and install reclining rear seats, which they say is a class exclusive. I haven't scoured the entire landscape to see if there's any other vehicle that does it, but it's a very, very cool feature in a full-size pickup truck. This is a pickup truck. Let's talk about bed functionality. On our tester, we've got the 5'7" bed. They also make a longer 6'4" bed. We have the optional power down tailgate. You can hold this and it'll power back up, or you can also just give it a little nudge and it'll pop right back up. But we also have a couple other features. We got this trifold tonneau, and let's see if I can operate it. Oh wait, looks like I'm able to do it. And I broke it. Oh wait, there we go. Okay. Hey, I'm learning and it's all gonna be okay. Oh, one thing over on this side here, we've got a little optional step. So you can step and pull it down right here. This guy right here. And so that's an easy way to get into your Ram 1500. And there we go. We've got the spray-in bed liner. We've got these adjustable tie-down points. We've got a cargo divider and extender here. If you want to come over on this side, this is the Ram box. We have this on both of the bedside rails. Push this little button though, and you'll see, look at all this like storage space you have that's available. On this side here, we've got this outlet. So there's a ton of functionality. Oh, and there's even a multifunction tailgate V8, which sort of splits in the middle. Ours doesn't have that, but if you want even easier access to the bed of the Ram, it'll kind of open up and the little step will pop down. So yeah, it's a very functional bed, kind of what you'd expect from a modern full-size pickup truck. And my God, that is the biggest logo I've ever seen on a vehicle. You'll never guess who makes this truck. For storing stuff inside, we've got a completely flat floor in the back there. If you flip the rear seats up, there's like a little box that flips out and that can keep things from rolling around. And then secret storage. Shh, don't tell, but that's where you can put the things you don't want us to know about. But we know what you're hiding.
We know it all.
Way to yes and, kiddo.
Sorry, that sounded creepy. That was totally unintended.
Sweetie, what's the car seat situation?
There are 3 top tethers, lower anchors in the outboard positions, and if you'd like to install a seat in the middle position, there is an extra anchor for you. I'm 5'2". Behind a generous front seat position for myself, there is a ton of room for a rear-facing car seat.
As for safety, it's really interesting. The NHTSA rates the quad cab version of the Ram 1500 a 5-star, but the crew cab is a 4-star overall. If you look at the IIHS, it's not a top safety pick. It actually went down substantially in the moderate overlap test starting in 2025. And if you think, well, is that about impact? No, it's actually about rear seat dummy kinematics. So it went from good to poor in 1 year. The key takeaway is that the test standards continue to get more stringent, and then manufacturers have to adapt to that. For active safety, we have a full suite of active driver assist technology, and we have 6 airbags standard. Rear window test. Hey, all the way down. It's a big window all the way down. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and yes, we do have the optional power sliding rear window. Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, easy access to both the inboard and outboard armrest. Much like the seats, there's some give here, but it's also quite firm. But I'm not interacting with any of the stitching there, so I'm going to give it a 4 on the all-new Micah Muzio Fuzzy Bunny armrest test. Moving onward to In Motion. The Ram 1500 has that 5-link coil spring rear live axle, which does a lot of good things in terms of ride quality. It is a big truck though, so when you move the steering wheel like this, you can feel the thing kind of leaning and moving. So there is, a notable heft to it. And before you say it's not a sports car, it's a truck. I know, it's a truck. It drives like a truck. Expectations met. I would say that if you want maximum ride quality, maybe go with a wheel and tire package that doesn't include 22-inch wheels. It's a moderate steering ratio, and it's going in a very predictable fashion. It just motors around like a truck, and kind of a good version of a truck. We also have the air suspension. We can lift it up for off-roading, but it also has an entry access mode, which makes it really easy for shorter people to get aboard. All of that aside, the real news is the return of the 5.7-liter Hemi V8, which is what we've got here. After I make this turn, I'm going to floor it, and we'll see what happens. Anything magical happening? Whee! Well, that sounds good, and that hauls, Sensi? Thank you, Sensi.
That sounded awesome.
What's really funny, though, is that they brought the V8 back, and if you look at the Monroney, it literally calls out the symbol of protest badge. I'll let you guys come to your own conclusions about the potential self-aggrandizing quality of a symbol of protest badge, but what I love is how incredibly literal it is. It's a V8 from a truck company called Ram. I know, we'll put a Ram head on a V8 engine. Done. That Hemi V8 is widely available, and in fact for our limited trim it is a no-charge option versus the high output Hurricane inline 6-cylinder engine, which is twin turbocharged. You can choose this for no charge, but just note it's making a lot less power than you get if you got that inline 6-cylinder. Real quick, I'm going to come to a stop here. One very cool aspect of the Hemi V8 is it's got this e-torque system, which is kind of an electric assist motor, and so when I come off the brake pedal here, that is such a smooth startup that when the engine shuts off, when you're stationary, you really don't mind it. It's really transparent. I really like the e-torque system. Just in our normal driving around, I found the V8 to offer, prompt and ample power, and it sounds good doing it. Good emotional satisfaction. I'm gonna floor it real quick. I love how quick that responsiveness was. The 8-speed automatic transmission worked really well. It's a really satisfying pairing. Let's do the Micah Muzio limo test. Let's see if I can bring this to a velvety, buttery smooth. No, that wasn't very good. In my experience, it is a little bit difficult to bring the Ram 1500 to an absolutely perfectly buttery smooth stop. I sure mention butter a lot when I'm talking about braking. That's what I think about driving the Ram 1500. Let's see what Sweetie thinks. Evie's at the wheel. We're in some tight quarters here, so just pull us forward and tell me, what is it like maneuvering this thing at slow speeds?
Well, it's a big pickup truck and it drives like a big pickup truck.
Let's put that statement to the test. Do a U-turn in this big old U-turn space. Yeah,
Actually, that was great.
Made it around just fine. Any visibility challenges?
This pillar is huge. I feel like I need to peek around it. Around the rest of the vehicle, it's pretty good. The windows are really big. Over my left shoulder here, though, there is a handle that I love when I'm getting into the back seat, but I don't like when I'm trying to look over my shoulder.
On that note, there is a driver's side handle too, which makes it easy to climb in and out, which is really helpful. Sometimes for some reason they don't give you the driver's side handle, so I'm glad it's included here. And now, Sweetie, I'm going to use the voice. When you're ready, go ahead and put that 5.7 liter Hemi V8 to good use.
All right. Ooh. I like the power delivery in this. It's ample enough that I feel very confident I will get to speed quickly, but I don't feel like it's too much power. Like, it's very manageable.
Oh my God, have we just stumbled on the Hemi V8 use case? It's like plenty of power, but not as much as the Hurricane, so.
I like it. One thing I don't like is when you're turning it, it feels like it kind of moves around a lot.
You're right, there was a fair bit of body movement here. Truck stuff. Now, I don't foresee a situation where we would buy a full-size pickup truck, but if we were in the market for a full-size pickup truck, are there any game killers that would keep you from driving a Ram 1500?
No game killers here.
Excellent, I'm getting back in the driver's seat. Moving onward to remarks. For infotainment, the Ram 1500 comes with a standard 8.4-inch Uconnect 5 system. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless smartphone connectivity comes standard. There's also a 12-inch unit and an optional 14.4-inch unit, which is the one we have here.
This infotainment system is very easy to use. There are shortcuts along the bottom that you'd use most often. I found it easy to navigate through the menus. I also appreciate these little shortcuts up here for the climate and seat heaters.
And there are physical controls for the climate functions.
I think they did a good job of keeping a sleek look while also keeping it very functional.
My only bit of confusion with the screen is that I'm not sure if they're fully utilizing all of the available space. For example, if this bottom section here, which is like some buttons or something, I think that would work just fine. And then also, when you use the 360-degree camera system, which is optional, it's not really making use of all of the available space. I wouldn't mind if those images were a bit bigger, although there is plenty of visibility if you need to see around the vehicle. Over in front of me, we've got an optional 12-inch digital gauge cluster. I really like how reconfigurable this is.
Like the gauge cluster, I also like that this touchscreen is reconfigurable.
In the beginning of this video, we asked, hey, is the Tester that we're driving here, which costs right about $87,000, not including destination charges, is this thing worth that much money? I'm gonna run through a litany of features and you're gonna tell us if it's worth 87 grand. Our Tester has leather interior, heated and ventilated massaging front seats, heated and ventilated rear seats, a Harman Kardon premium audio system with cheese-worthy speaker grates. We got hands-free driving abilities. FYI, while using Ram's hands-free system, it generally worked fine, but throughout our 1-week loan, I had 2 notable lane departures where I had to quickly intervene. Ram drivers, stay frosty. You got that big old panoramic roof and a 10.25-inch passenger display plus power steps. With all those features and looking at the vehicle, you tell me, is this thing worth 87 grand? And actually, you tell me, what's it like using that passenger side display?
Using the screen is simple. I like that it's easy to turn off because sometimes I get overstimulated by electronics. You can operate the audio and video controls, you can navigate, or you can use the camera, which is super handy if you want to go off-road and you need a passenger spotter. One thing that's a little bit odd though, you cannot use the camera in the main screen and the passenger screen at the same time.
Is that screen better than turning your head 20 degrees to the left?
No, I don't really understand this screen. How I see it being used is you are trying to do something over here, I can be useful over here. But if you're not a multitasking family, this seems a little unnecessary.
Taking a quick look at updates for the 2026 model year, we got the return of the 5.7 liter Hemi V8. That means I gotta use this voice, because Sam Elliott was expensive and also unavailable. Then there's the return of the Express trim and the Black Express trims, and then also a couple new colors. And now let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you open the hood on a Ram 1500. Here's where you can check the oil level and add oil, and over on the right side there, that's where you add the washer fluid. And if you're wondering what the Ram 1500's horn sounds like, hey, and real quick, our buddy Brian, who inspired this test, really helped us out recently. So if you don't mind doing me a favor, can you leave a comment thanking Brian and just letting Brian know how awesome he is? Just imagine the nicest and also most competent guy you know. That's our Brian. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
And now let's talk about engine choices. The base engine is a 3.6 liter V6. If you'd like more power, for only $1,700 on the lower trims, you can get a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder that's twin turbocharged. Oh, look at all that power. Amazingly, there's even a higher output version that you'll find on the higher trims. And then, of course, there's the 5.7-liter Hemi V8 that we've been driving. Regardless of engine, all Ram 1500s come with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and if you want to tow the maximum amount, it's going to be the standard output Hurricane engine that's 11,610 pounds. Yes, that's more than the Hemi can pull. For the record, I think V8s are cool, but since the Hemi V8 makes less power, tows less, is less efficient, and also costs like $1,200 more than the Hurricane inline 6-cylinder, I'd like to know from you, why would you choose the Hemi V8 over the Hurricane inline 6-cylinder? And by the way, this is not a judgmental thing. I travel by helicopter frequently by choice, which is the dumbest way to get from this place to that place. So just curious, tell me why you choose the Hemi. It's a little unclear from the Ram configurator, but as far as I can tell, the Laramie trim is the lowest one to offer keyless access, or as Ram calls it, passive entry and lock. That's a more expensive trim than we'd prefer to recommend, but we will because these days it's weird to reach into your pocket and press unlock on a fob before you get into your car. That Laramie trim also comes with heated and ventilated 10-way power front seats, dual zone climate control, a 12-inch touchscreen, and that 420 horsepower Hurricane 6-cylinder. As for the competition, it's the obvious names. We're talking the Ford F-150, Chevrolet Silverado, GMC Sierra, and the Toyota Tundra. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. And now it is our daughter's time to shine. Child, can you tell us what is your favorite feature in the Ram 1500?
I really like the reclining rear seats. They're really easy to use, although you gotta be kind of strong.
But it's a good thing you're a really strong 10-year-old.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Ram 1500. May I have a 5 and a 5. And you, come get your high five. Boop. By the way, I am a human and I write all the music that's in our video. So if you're curious and you want proof, there's a link in the description below. The only song I don't write is our AI-generated Synopsis song, which you will hear right now talking all about the Ram 1500.
If it says Hemi on the sticker, I'm sold. Even if the straight 6 runs a longer pulls cold. Maybe it's worse on paper, I know, but my heart hears